Sam Legasic.
And I'm Dreadful Dan Gallagher. And we're two old buddies that have lived our life at the edge of the mainstream.
So come join us where things are a little odd. This is the
You've got to believe.
It's alive! It's loose!
This earth of yours will be reduced to a burned out cinder.
Hello. Hello. You talking to me or the Odd Squad?
Everyone in the world. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Thank you.
And I hope everyone out there is doing well. Today we're back again for a discussion about a really weird movie. 1988's Demonwarp. One of the strangest films I've seen in a long time.
Let's have a quick listen to some of the beauty that is Demonwarp.
Get some water.
Do you have a first aid kit?
Yeah, it's in the tent.
Wow. If you're struggling to visualize what's going on there, that is the sound of some teenagers being harassed by a large, slobbering, kind of Bigfoot-esque monster, which is pretty much about 3/4 of this film's action. It's a strange one, this. It goes through quite a lot of different kind of horror tropes. But before we get into the detail of that, Sam, what were your initial thoughts about Demonwarp?
God, I mean, like, I didn't even know what a Demonwarp is. It made me think of like Laser Quest, or something like that. Is what I was kind of expecting. But it wasn't that. When I started watching it, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before, and I realized I was telling you, Red Letter Media actually covered it a while ago, which I'd actually seen. Right. I've seen the actual film. And so I remembered bits and pieces of it, but I didn't remember anything about what it was about, or whatever. And, you know, haven't heard about it before that or in any other way, just from that one Red Letter Media episode. And then when you told me that we are we're going to be watching this movie, it was, I mean, man, like where to start? But I guess that's my background with it. But how did you come across it then?
Well, I'm always poking around on IMDb and everything. It popped up as a recommendation based on other things I've watched. And when I read the synopsis, I thought, that is absolutely for me. And when I saw the brilliant artwork from the old big box VHS,
yeah,
I mean, that really sells the film. And in fact, I think when you see that artwork, actually, no film can live up to such a brilliant hodgepodge of like weird sci-fi and horror cliche. And in the middle of these, you know, you've got like some zombies, I think, and some guy who seems to be like turning into a wolf at the bottom in pain, these big green lizard hands. And in the middle of it all, floating, is this disembodied George Kennedy head.
Yeah, just sitting there. God, Jesus. Like, and because he's in the first scene, which I know we'll kind of come on to, but I thought he was going to be like the main guy, like him against, which, I mean, he must have turned up for literally like a day or two of shooting, and that was it.
Apparently he did. Apparently he had a caveat to say, look, I can only come on these few days. Another caveat he put in, he said, you have to hire my daughter.
Oh, who was his daughter then? In the beginning?
No, it's not the daughter of the character. It's one of the women who turns up in the middle of the film to go sunbathing in the middle of the forest.
Which one? The brunette one is fairly famous in her own right? She's
Michelle Bauer. She's
that's it.
Considered a big 80s scream queen, right? Along with Linnea Quigley. But it's the other one. No, it's the blonde. Basically, the only the only woman in the film who's spared having to reveal their breasts.
Yeah,
I feel the director takes out his weird sort of like pent up
annoyance.
Sexual frustrations by having her head ripped off horribly.
Yeah, that wasn't. I wasn't expecting that. Well, because when they were shooting, I know we're jumping ahead, but when they were shooting that. And they're kind of trying to film it like her head is getting twisted around and around, which is weird. I was like, what are they doing? They're trying to make it like. So I thought, is he trying to snap her neck? And then it's like, no, he's just twisting her head off, which totally didn't really work. But it was a bit like, oh god, okay, right.
He just pulls it off like a piece of taffy in the end.
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
I like that a few weeks ago we did the movie Primer, and you turned up primed with all kinds of explorations of its very twisted, convoluted plot across various timelines, etc. But for this film, you just simply messaged me to say, I am so confused.
Well, I was like, okay, so in a nutshell, all right, let's say what it's about in a nutshell. So it opens out with, what's his name? George Harrison. Is that his name? George Kennedy. George Kennedy. With his daughter, they're playing a game, and basically this Yeti creature, this Bigfoot thing, comes in, and again, I'm not really sure. Like, he kind of gets knocked out, whatever. But then there's like blood and all this stuff, and I'm not sure. I think he's killed her, and he drags her off, but she's only got like 3, like very slight, like claw marks on her face, and that's about it. And that's the only damage that seems to have been done. But it doesn't even open out on that, actually, when I think about it.
No, you've missed the prologue. Yeah, the film starts.
Mad.
And I think here a little caption might have been helpful to say what year it's meant to be. But this is, quite far in the past. You've got an oldie kind of like Wild West era kind of looking priest, and he's just walking along with his horse, thumping his Bible. Yeah, and something comes crashing out of the sky. It's basically a big aircraft, spaceship, and he basically comes along and has a look at it. So
and he says something weird like, "Oh, call from God," I don't know, whatever, and something like that. Yeah. And I got to say, like the credits as well during this bit, which is just shots looking up at trees. The credits on, I was just like, fucking hell, come on.
It looks so cheap.
Something else, like anything else. Just different shots of different trees. It's not as if they mixed it up with other forest shots either. But yeah, it's all like, I was like 45 minutes into this film, I was like, why was there a priest at the beginning? That's the thing with this whole film, is that in the last like 10, 15 minutes, it just goes off on one in a way I've never seen before. I mean, Dan, sorry, I'm kind of like, I could go on for ages already, but I'm trying to get my head around it.
Yeah, no, let's keep at that level before we dive into like a scene by scene or whatever. I think that's the big takeaway for this film for me, is that it's advertised with all this crazy stuff going on. But like you say, aside from that little bit of that prologue, really then we get about over an hour of what is really feels like a bog standard kind of teenagers in the woods being hunted by a Yeti, with poor George Kennedy in the middle of it all. And I'll be honest, I felt sorry for him. If you don't know George Kennedy, obviously at this point he's in the autumn of his career, let's say, but he'd won an Academy Award, and he's been in big movies, and he did bring a little touch of class, I thought, to some of his scenes.
For sure.
He's very likable, and he lifts things up when he's there, but he did also feel a bit silly running around with his yellow hat. But like you said, Sam, there's a bit where you're like, he's going to be the hero in this film, because the teenagers, especially the kind of like main guy, they're not all that likable, frankly. And you're like, George Kennedy's going to become the hero. He's already invested. He's got the, his daughter's gone missing. He's going to sort this monster out. Sadly, it doesn't become the case. But you're kind of thinking, well, the main mystery here is like, what is the monster? And it's already been kind of pretty well signposted as to what the nature of that monster is. So it's not a big mystery. And when that's revealed, you're like, well, what's left for this film to give? And then it all
little do you know.
Then it's just like, right, you wanted weird shit, you're gonna get it.
It's mad. It's insane. It's like, it's, as you said, it's like just having those Evil Dead type, I think it's heavily influenced. I mean, like, it isn't everything, but just the way they all interacted with each other, and all this, and they're all about to have sex, having sex, and like there's boobs everywhere, and you've kind of got the the dancing to that really shit dancing to like the guy with the boombox, that 80s like metal music, and it's like one of them, they're like kind of teasing for maybe being a bit gay or something like that, and all this stuff. But the whole time I was just like, what is going on? Like, why are they here? Like, like, and also like there's no indication, it wasn't to me, like how long after, because this happens right after when George Kennedy gets smashed. I don't know how much time has actually passed. So when they turn up, the whole place is I thought it was going to be like, this is like 20 years later or something. And it's like, the whole place is just trashed. And they're like, oh, so it's clearly like just happened. And then later on, he's like, when you see him, he's like, oh, I've been looking for that, been looking for this, Bigfoot or whatever. And I've got all the trash. It's like, well, how long? What's happened? I don't understand. Like, what's the timeline?
So there's some obvious issues, I think, with the film. Areas where it definitely could have been tightened up, improved upon, made more dramatic, etc., etc. But all those things considered, I still came away with a feeling that I enjoyed that film just for the crazy ride at the end. Yeah.
I don't want to go straight to the end though. I want to.
No.
I want to delve into
blow
what
by
happens.
blow.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's pause at that point then, and let's go back to the beginning of the film and try and break down what the hell is going on with Demonwarp.
Great, let's do it.
So Demonwarp opens with this scene we've already discussed with the priest, seeing the spaceship crash out of the sky. After that, though, that's kind of like forgotten about for the bulk of the movie. We're into basically a scene of poor old George Kennedy. He's got his daughter for the weekend, trying to rekindle. We don't know what the backstory is here. Trying to rekindle their relationship. Oh, Daddy, she's having such a great time. They're playing like Monopoly in the cabin or something in the woods. And it doesn't take long.
I'm into this. Like,
it's very sweet.
I'm enjoying this acting. Yeah, it's good.
George Kennedy is just a pleasure to see on screen, right? At this point, apparently, as well, he's only a few days or weeks away from recording the first Naked Gun.
Right.
So his career was about to turn around, and but I'm afraid this appears to be the nadir for him anyway. Suddenly, out of nowhere, something kicks the door in. It's a big hairy beast. As you said, Sam, does a little bit of damage, and drags the daughter away. And then we're into the scene of basically teenagers in the car, and they're coming up to the cabin. And basically, one of the guys who ends up kind of being the lead protagonist in the film, he's like, when they get there, guys, I've brought you here. You thought you were coming on a nice weekend getaway, but actually, I'm investigating the disappearance and murder of some people that were staying at my uncle's cabin.
Yeah.
What a tosser.
Yeah, that's weird. I was just like, I don't really... He's also like a bit of a dick, generally.
Yeah. And he's unloading... Everyone else is like unloading some beers and stuff to have a good time for the weekend, and he's getting out all this like high-tech... I don't know, like Yeti tracking stuff.
Yeah, it's technology.
So he's a bit intense, really. And this guy plays him like he's really downbeat and dour throughout the whole film, isn't he? He's not a lot of fun, really.
No.
But with him, you've got his girlfriend, his one of his friends, and their girlfriend, and then there's like some other guy who's like some lemon. Who I actually recognised that actor, and he was probably the best of the bunch. He actually had a bit of presence and personality. Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's going to end up being the guy. But no, within minutes, that guy is dead, brown bread. Because they don't really make it past even into that evening, do they? There's a little bit of TNA.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, that's true. It does happen quite quickly. There's that, like the thing that leads up to it is that he dresses up in a gorilla mask and he's outside going, ooh, and this woman is like screaming. It's clearly a man in a gorilla mask, but instead of being like, oh, dick, she's like, oh my God. She goes like crazy running into them. It's like, it's clearly like you're not looking at it going, that's a natural creature. I mean, I can imagine it'd be quite jumpy. But yeah, and then obviously the real bloody Bigfoot turns up. Yeah,
so he's running around in his mask, being a right plank, and he's the first victim. When she runs out from the shower into the hallway and into the arms of the other guy, she's like basically running around Starkers. He's so creepy at this point. He's all like trying to hit on her and everything. It's like her boyfriend's just outside in a rubber monkey mask.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's no problem for him because he is dead. At this point as well, I think that the monster rips out all the engine from the car.
That's right. They go outside and it's like the car's fucked and all this stuff. Classic.
Classic. We're fucked.
More tropes. Yeah.
So basically, it enters the house, and it kills the other guy, the other mate. So now we're left with just the main guy, his girlfriend, and this other girl.
Yeah,
and he's got a clear shot.
Yeah, it's what Yeti monster as well. Yeah,
clear shot, but he can't quite bring himself to fire the gun.
Yeah, I mean, with that bit in particular. And when I was watching it, it cuts back and forth between, and she's going, show him, show him, show. And it's coming back between, he grabs a toaster very carefully. He's like looking at it going, buddy. Yeah, like, can I have this? Cool. I'm just going to creep out. And he doesn't shoot. And I was just thinking, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a story point or if that's just bad filmmaking where they were like, is this on purpose? Because it looks like it might be a mistake that he's like eked it out. Like he's like, I can't get a clear shot or something, but he's just standing there with the gun pointed as he steals the Bigfoot, steals the toaster. It's so fucking weird.
But you should have had faith because actually it's planting a seed.
No, exactly.
For developments that occur later. But yeah, we get this exchange between him and the Yeti creature. After that, it's like he's just sitting around. All his mates are dead, and it's like, give the gun to the women. Jesus, this guy's weak as fuck.
Yeah, what's the point if he's not going to shoot?
Yeah, he's like, give me the gun. I'll have the gun. Anyway, after this, basically, I can't remember really what happens, but we get into basically a long portion of the film now, which is just running around in the woods, basically being stalked by this creature. All kinds of just characters as well being cycled in and out, and you're like, is this going to be anything? Oh no, they just killed them.
But that's what's weird. It's like they just show like two women driving along. Then suddenly this like guy in a backpack or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, are these new characters then? Like, who are these people? And then suddenly we're like on a journey with them as well. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, why? Like, we're halfway through the film. Who the fuck? I don't care what the fuck is happening with these guys. I don't even know who they are.
Some of them are there for, I think the two girls are there for kind of a bit of comedy relief and obviously some TNA. So Michelle Bauer, as we mentioned, and George Kennedy's daughter turn up in a nice convertible. And they're like, it's like in the middle of the woods. And she's like, well, I might as well get my tanning, and just like strips her top off.
Yeah, straight off.
So very, very titillate, and then runs around topless, basically.
Yeah, well, there's a shot which literally just zooms in on her boobs. It's like not even like, you know, not even like trying to hide.
It's not discreet.
It's like, here are some boobs. And it's like, okay, Jesus. All right.
Yeah, one of the girls gets her head ripped off, as we mentioned. And this random guy who's there, like, taking photos in the woods. I was like, is this going to play into, like, maybe he takes a photo of the monster and it shows it in a different form or reveals something more about it? No, 10 minutes later, he's dead as well. I think he's just there as screen fodder to be killed.
He's probably my favourite death, because if you remember, at one point, I can't remember which comes first, but at one point he's like looking around a tree and all of a sudden he gets slapped around the face. He gets slapped like a fucking bitch slap, like across his face by like a dismembered hand. Like it perfectly slaps him. It's just like, that's so funny. And then when he's like running for his life, it's more like a casual jog, like rather than like running in sheer terror. He's just like kind of just walking a bit faster away from this menace. It's so funny, so great.
Yeah, there are some really good comic moments. What do you think of the monster itself?
So I didn't mind it. Like, it's pretty. I mean, it's not great, but at the same time, I've seen worse. Basically, put it that way. I like this. They've just kind of hidden it by having just like loads of hair, which is fine. And the mask thing is fine. But yeah, it's nothing like. It's clearly a suit. It's not like they've done like a moving face and like blood dripping or sweat or anything like that. It's just.
Well, they have done a moving lip though, haven't they? So that to me is like where they put all the money basically for this budget.
The lip. Right.
It's like an animatronic lip. Basically, every time you see it, it kind of does a big snarl, and they make sure you see that snarl every time. And sometimes it's on the other side, and I think, they probably flipped the film. But maybe. Otherwise, he looks kind of hokey, doesn't he? Just a guy in a suit. But
it's weird because the rest of the effects.
I was going to say, boy, oh boy, that if you want to see a really top quality lip, there you go. Yeah, I didn't mind the effects for the rest of it, to be honest. Like, well, this is right? Because now suddenly there are zombies. So this is the point where randomly you see this zombie come stuttering through the woods. Yeah, and it's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, why is there a zombie in this like Bigfoot film?
And then it's like, okay, forget about that again for a while. At this point, the main character, again, he's being a bit of a dick with the girls. Being a bit like, oh, I'm in charge. It's like, well, okay, you're in charge, but so far... Oh, yeah, and he shows a little bit of insight. Oh, maybe it is all my fault because I brought everyone here. Yeah, no shit. You brought everyone on the bloody...
to get killed. Why didn't you go by yourself? You've literally just brought fodder to kind of, stop you getting killed is what you've done.
And he goes into a bit more detail about like how, why he's here, which is that, his uncle had been renting the cottage, as we know, and but since then he's disappeared as well. So it's not just George Kennedy's daughter that's gone; the uncle has disappeared, and he really wants to find the uncle. That's why he's here. Yeah. And so apparently that's worth sacrificing all his friends for.
Sure.
He also weirdly starts hitting on the girl whose boyfriend died earlier. And there's like are they going to kiss? And so at this point, she's basically been like putting feelers out with all the guys in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just a really strange little like unnecessary, weird
thing
character development. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, if you can call it that. Yeah.
They bump into George Kennedy again, So he's been camping in the woods for however many weeks since his daughter went missing. And it's like, they're like, you've got a pretty good setup here. And he's like, yeah, he's like got his tent. And everywhere, we should have mentioned, everywhere they're going, they're coming across these bear traps that he's laid, which almost kind of kill them. But yeah, he's put traps everywhere, tripwire, dynamite. But most importantly, he's got his yellow hat.
Yeah. He wants to stand out. He wants this bear to find him. And I should say, like, throughout this whole thing, everything takes place in the day. So there's no, like, night scenes. There's no, like, it's all during bright sunshine, bright daylight, which is strange in itself.
It looks so cheap. It really looks like a trauma film at this point. And you're thinking, is there any budget here? It reminds me a bit of a film called Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo. It's a bit of a trauma classic. Again, this guy's holed up in a cabin. They can't get out because it's too snowy or something. And there's this weird mythical creature stalking everyone. Some crappy deaths. So at this point, basically it attacks them all here by George's tent. Michelle Bauer at this point has joined them, jiggling along. There's a big fight, and basically the worst thing happens here. They've got a good opportunity to kill it, but they don't take the opportunity. And this was it. George Kennedy gets snuffed out. This was a sad moment. Like I said, I was looking for him to kind of be like, I'm going to put you teenagers in your place. And I thought he's going to man up and get the gun and kind of go on a rampage.
Not quite.
What could have been? I think it would have been a better film if he'd taken over the lead mantle at this point.
Yeah, well, you feel like it's his, like, duty or whatever. Like, why open it? Well, I suppose, like, I mean, I don't, like, what's the point of him being there? If you know what I mean. Like, you could have done away with that whole thing, and that whole intro as well. Like, I don't know. So he's, I mean, the whole thing is a big surprise, but it's a shame that he died. But I guess, like, now the old people are away. We're with the teenagers who are going to save the day, or try to.
And the next big event that happens is, this guy tracks it down to some kind of cave. Where it's wounded, and it's lying there, and it's like, this is actually quite good. I thought the makeup and everything.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah,
it transfers back to being a man, and of course, it's the guy's uncle.
Yeah.
So, and what does he say? He says something vague like, "Oh, they got me, and they did it to me."
Yeah, I can't remember. It's something just non-committal, or whatever. Like, just something vague. Yeah, but I remember looking at that, going, "Okay, that's cool." I quite liked how he deformed, as it were, back to human.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah, not too bad.
At this point, I'm going like, what? We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Why is this film called Demonwarp?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Well, I'm still thinking of like I'm like, what's going on with the priest? Like, and I thought, is it just that it's like there's something that's crashed and it's turning people to zombies, but also Bigfoot's here? Like, I was not sure what was going on. I mean, the answer, I'm still not sure. Like,
your mind was more inquiring than mine. I'd just completely forgotten about that. I was like, this is literally just going to be running around in the woods. So, but this event triggers the end where suddenly now the shift isn't what's the Bigfoot creature. It's, can I now go and stop whoever they are? These people that took him and turned him into a beast. Because he looks up and he goes deeper into the cave, and there's all these zombies staggering around, and they're moving all this like equipment about. So that toaster that he stole earlier. And basically all of the tech equipment he brought up to the cabin, they've been stealing it, and they're moving it around in the cave towards a quite elaborate, kind of funky looking, futuristic
Star Trek door.
Yeah,
a 60s Star Trek. Yeah, it's literally, this is where the set and all this stuff is just fucking dire, but yeah. And they're like putting stuff into like the wall and all this stuff. It looks like they're building something. Yeah, so you're like, and again, I was watching it going, what is going on? What is happening? What
Did you see?
Kept me involved, I guess.
Yeah, this is where I was like, okay, I want to see how this is going to play out, because they managed to throw in so many elements. How are they going to manage to tie it together and resolve it? I'm not sure they do. Did you see the guy in the Residents t-shirt?
No.
There's a guy with a Meet the Residents t-shirt on.
Brilliant.
And like he pops up quite a few times. I was like, I bet someone working on this was a Residents fan.
That makes sense then.
So, God, what happens now? Basically, he finds the guy, his mate from the beginning, who has done the hilarious prank with the monkey mask. And he's like lying on the floor. And he's like, they're in there in the ship. Go run, save them, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, will do. But at that point, then the other guy, his other pal, he comes out and he's like an evil zombie. So why one of them is kind of like on death's door and the other one is a fully functioning zombie, and why they haven't been transformed into Bigfoot creatures? There's no rationale for any of this. You just got to take it as it comes.
And also, they do like an American Werewolf in London thing here, where he's like, you know, if you remember in that, his like mate, he's been killed. He has like he sees him or whatever, and he's just like, I'm dead, like whatever, like nothing I could do about it, and he kind of falls apart. And this is kind of like that, like he's a smart talking kind of like zombie who's still like his mate, which is, and it would nod to that, I guess. But yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah, it reminded me of what's the other film? Fright Night, Evil Ed. Yeah,
Fright Night. Yeah.
So again, just falling back on some pretty familiar kind of tropes, I think. So there's nothing. Where are we going to go next? Well, we got to go through this door. So in he ventures, and this is the best bit of the film, surely.
It's mad. Yeah,
this is fucked up.
Go and say.
Well, for a start, it looks like the set to a 1960s episode of Star Trek.
Yeah,
it's just like so bad. Set. But basically, there's like
really badly. Like just the light, the colourful light. What is this? It's like literally it could not look more like a shit TV set if it tried.
There's a sacrificial table to which the Michelle Bauer character is strapped, bare-breasted, of course.
Must be.
And we see finally that priest from the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Although I'll be honest, I didn't recognise him.
No, but it's only because he's wearing like a black hood and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this must be the priest. And it's like doing some sacrificial religious stuff.
I didn't twig it. I only figured that after the film had ended. Right, I was just like, here's just a random high some priest, guy. Satanic.
It's some guy.
And he's all like, you know, blah, 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 gonna sacrifice your baby. Some incantation, whatever. Yeah. But then we pan across to see who
the best
like Dark Lord is that he's making this sacrifice to. This is where all the budget went, surely.
Yeah, go describe it because I don't think I can describe it.
I mean, it's fucking horrible. It's genuinely hideous. Like, it looks really, really good. This thing should be all over the marketing materials for this film. It's like, that's it. It would ruin the surprise. It's kind of like a cross between a giant scorpion and Davros, except the tail is also, and this is perfect for you, Sam. It's very, very phallic.
It's extremely phallic. I would say also a Dalek as well.
Well, Davros being the ruler
shit,
of the
of course. I was like thinking, I don't know who Davros is. Right, yes. So that would, of course, because he was fucking...
He's in his little thing.
Or whatever. That's right. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. God, idiot. Me.
But they've put all this... it looks really good. Like all the makeup around the face with like the lips pulled back and...
yeah.
He's genuinely scary. Yeah, it's like something from a meat sandwich.
Yeah. Crucify. That should be quite apt, because then he's fed all the fucking hearts or whatever, isn't he?
This whole thing, it does actually look like the meat sandwich video by Guam. Yeah. This gets really grisly. Yeah, he kills Michelle Bauer. You think, he's going to save her? No, stabs her in the chest, dead, and cuts her heart out. And we actually see him hold it up. Gives it to his pal, this space demon lord thing. He yums it up. Om nom nom nom. And you can see his appendage twitching. So he's liking that.
Yeah.
And next up is our hero's girlfriend. So there's all to play for still. She can still be saved. She gets stripped, of course. Naturally.
Yes. Yeah.
On the table. And it's like,
the way they say the zombies are carrying her and all this stuff, and it just looks so fucking cheap.
Yeah.
I was just like, I remember watching that, just taking a step away and thinking, God, imagine being behind the camera of this. You'd just be going, what is going on?
Imagine editing it.
It's awful. Yeah. Well, I imagine there wasn't much to have to edit around. They probably only did one take of everything. Here
things get very messy and complicated. I can't even quite remember what happens. But his friend, the one that was kind of like dying outside, he manages to get into this sacrifice room. Now, he undergoes some kind of weird transformation, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he gets I can't remember what order it happens. So he gets basically molested by one of those spike things in his chest, which is all a bit sexual and weird and horrible and horrific, that this weird creature has. And then he starts transforming into, I guess, another Bigfoot or whatever.
Because he starts getting a bit hairy, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's like, go! Or whatever. And then, because there's they've set the dynamite or something like that, haven't they?
So just before this, he does manage to knock off all the zombies and I think kill the priest.
Yeah, priest is dead.
Free his girlfriend. So then this is the next thing. He's got the dynamite, and for some reason they can't just leave the dynamite. He's kind of I think he's come with us. But I think this guy knows, it's the end of the road for me. I'm already half dead and now I'm turning into Bigfoot. Yeah. So he's I'll stay here with the dynamite, and it's big emotional moment, except it isn't.
Yeah.
There's no emotional moments in this film.
No, and it's kind of it's cutting between our hero kind of running out and through the caves trying to get away, and him just there cradling the dynamite, because they obviously haven't got enough. There's nothing going on basically back in that place. They're just shooting him, holding the dynamite and cutting to and from it, just to ascertain that there is some time delay, he is getting further away from this spaceship, whoever the fuck it is, that they're trying to fix. And then as they're running out, they spot the other girl, but her eye is basically dropped out, and they're no, she's fine. And he's she's not fine, she's gonna die, she's dead already, forget it, let's go. She's no, come on, it's fine. And then he just fucking shoots her. He's come on, let's just get out of here. This was so
weird. It's as if there isn't enough going on at this point. It's we're just going to throw this little bit of a distraction in. Please, we can save her. He's just no. Poof.
That's it. He's she's fucked. Get out of there. Yeah, it's quite funny.
I liked this whole reveal of, okay, so this is what they were up to. It would have made more sense if it had been established that maybe there was this kind of industry going on earlier in the film. That they're trying to fix the ship basically to get back out into space. But I thought that was quite cool, really. But that is it. Except for now, we get a little kind of epilogue of them escaped, and him and his girlfriend wake up in bed, right?
But they're in a studio. They're a black studio. It's not like they're in a bedroom. It's fucking weird.
It is a strange decision.
I just shoot in a bedroom. Why are you in like a blacked out studio? But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, this is it, because it already tells you there's something not right about this.
Yeah.
Which presumably isn't what they want you to think as a viewer. Because guess what? He's woken up, but it's all a dream. Or is it? Because then we get some zombies come in, or I think his girlfriend's like fucked up or something.
Yeah, his girlfriend's all messed up.
And you're like, oh man, here we go, this stupid false dream ending.
Yeah, but again, it's like he's woken up in a black studio. So it's like, oh, this is going to be a dream sequence, and then waking up, it's like, but he's still in the dream sequence. I don't really understand.
Oh, this was stupid.
Yeah, it was weird. And that
they should have ended it with. They should have ended it with. We wanted more of that demon thing. I think
it was enough. I think if you'd done too much of it, we'd have got bored of it. And I quite like that was its own special moment.
I wanted to see it at the end of the film that it somehow survived and was blasting away into space, going waving its tallywhacker wildly in the wind as it goes. With
his dick claws. It was a very weird film.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the wildest 10 minutes of any sort of like B movie that I can recall. So, I wouldn't say I suffered through the first hour of the film. There was quite a lot to enjoy, but it was pretty limp. But it was worth it, I think, for the insanity that followed.
Sure. Yeah, just for that final 10-15 minutes was worth it, because before then I was just like, okay, here we go, Bigfoot, yawn, and then it's just like the zombies, and then it's like, what is going on? And that's what I quite liked about it, is that it's like they just kind of drove it off a cliff. It's like this film is so boring. Let's just, how can we make it more exciting? Let's just throw this other shit in at the end. It's just out of nowhere. That's what's so strange. Like, if you've made it that far through the film, that's the payoff. It's a good payoff, but it's like, like, why not just dip some of this stuff in earlier or something? Kind of spread it out a little bit, so it kind of makes the first hour a bit more bearable.
Exactly. They needed to just pepper some of this. I think the zombies gathering stuff, and that there's something going on with the ship, would have been good earlier in the film. But I mean, there's a lot you could do. I think there's some cool ideas in this as far as a sci-fi horror B movie. And there's probably more potential here than they managed to realize just through that flabby pacing and some poor acting. But all in all,
I quite enjoyed it. I wasn't particularly. I liked it more than I thought I would. So that's saying something. And that ending was a good payoff. Like, it stuck in my head for sure, just in its surreal nature. What do you think?
I think it's one to go and check out. I think it's a maligned, forgotten classic. If you like trauma films or any kind of like low budget 80s, 90s B movies, I'd chuck it on the list. You're going to have a blast. Yeah,
exactly. Why not?
That's what we thought. Cool. But what do the people of the internet think?
Oh, let's find out.
I hate it.
So I've got a review here. 1 star out of 10.
Oh dear.
Plan 9 for the 80s.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you like Plan 9?
It's not an actually a good film, which is kind of the whole point, but it is quite enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad. Like, I don't think it's as awful as people suddenly. Like, when they say it's the worst film ever, so it's not that bad.
No,
there's some quite funny choices. Yeah. Boring is like, that's what people forget, is that if something is boring, that is a bigger crime than if it's bad. I don't care if it's bad because I'm enjoying it. If it's boring, I care.
Yeah.
Because you can be bad and boring, and you can be good. You can be bad and boring. The same way you could be good and boring. But because it's bad, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not good.
Exactly. Entertain us. That's all we want.
Yeah.
However, apparently this guy thinks this confused mess definitely ranks literally right down there with some of the worst.
Okay.
Even a couple of topless bimbos can't begin to save this dreadful piece of crap.
What a way to start it. What a way to start a review. Jesus.
It wouldn't have taken much for a competent director-screenwriter to turn this into a truly hilarious comedy. I quite agree with that. As it was, it had me giggling in frank disbelief at the absurdities on screen. A Bigfoot monster that's taken high school auto shop classes. Must have, given how it cleverly disabled that engine. But wait, it's not a monster movie. It's a zombie movie. As shown by the Romero retread. Yeah, he just ripped it out.
Exactly. Like he was in there tinkering. They'll never know.
Yeah, it's a zombie movie, as shown by the Romero retread seen shuffling about. Although that's not right either, as you've got aliens. But are they aliens? Where does the demon part from the title come in?
Yeah.
Actually, this film doesn't know what the heck it wants to be. I can only conjecture that George Kennedy, an otherwise fine actor, is staying up nights wishing he could find ways to destroy every copy of this abomination.
No, I mean, I'm sure he would got paid all right. Got his bit, went off. I mean, I don't know where else the budget went, but yeah.
I kind of agree with this guy's review, but I wouldn't have given it 1. Like you said, he was giggling along.
yeah, true. Well, that's it. What are you basing it on? Right? Is it actually a good film? No. But yeah.
Got another one here. 2 out of 10. Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Is
it another Amazon delivery problem?
I do like those ones.
But it didn't play.
This might shock you, Sam, but I don't think this has been made available on DVD.
Oh dear.
So the only people reviewing it will be like, I don't know when the Amazon marketplace began. It's like 2000 if someone managed to buy an old VHS. To be fair, Demonwarp isn't the worst film I've seen, but it is pretty dire. It starts off okay, but it soon becomes clear what we're dealing with. A mostly boring and silly film that isn't going very far. Still, it had plenty of shots of breasts. A topless woman gets her head pulled off. That's not true.
Not true. Yeah.
And a man gets a dismembered hand thrown at him, which is sort of funny.
Yeah, but that was funny. That was one of my favourite bits. Like literally just getting slapped. Oh, fucking hell, that was so funny. Yeah, just getting slapped across the face. I think it was the way, like, he's obviously been told to, like, not see it coming. So it's the way he's just kind of still staring off into the middle distance or whatever when he just slaps him across the face. Not attached to anything. Just imagine this, like, this fucking, Bigfoot just having a laugh. Like, where's it come from? That's good. I enjoyed that bit. I'm glad he enjoyed that. I think, when he's talking about topless girl getting a head pulled off, I think he's got that mistaken for another film.
He's not
probably watching.
Well, he's got the girls mixed up, hasn't he? He's not paid much attention there.
Oh, I thought he might have just got it mixed up with a snuff film he was watching.
Yeah. At the same time, concurrently on a different screen.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be crammed into the second half, with zombies, a Bigfoot monster, and aliens all making appearances. By this time, though, I was thoroughly bored and fast-forwarding through most of the tedious dialogue. I think that's a shame. I'm a bit sad about that.
Yeah.
He's got through all the boring bit, and then he's fast-forwarded through the fun bit. All of the reviews mention the fact that plenty of RGBs, random gratuitous breast shots, can't save this film. So that seems to be the chief complaint.
When do they save any film? Really, like apart from actual porn?
Not
like who's there going like?
Not once you reach the age of about 16.
Yeah,
up until 16, you can think, okay, this is still worth my time.
Well, this film was probably an 18, so it makes it even more useless. Yeah.
So, Sam, are you going to be tracking down a vintage copy of Demonwarp on VHS?
Nah, you're right. I'd like to find like the suit for the monster. I'd track that down.
Nice.
But no, I think I'm all right. I think I'm quite happy leaving that in the back of my head As a reference, that very niche reference for the future. I don't think I could sit
memory.
and watch it again. Yeah, I think right, I'm done with
likewise. But do go out and seek it out and watch it once and be
it's
amazed.
worth it. In all honesty, we're dissing it, but I did just for those last few minutes. It was worth it. It definitely made up for it, and I'd say you kind of have to watch it just for that, just for that ending, just for that crazy ending, because there's nothing else like it. It's very unique in that way. So yeah, it's definitely worth seeking out just for that. But once you've seen it, you've seen it.
And has that cleared up all confusion for you, Sam? Are you clear in your mind as to what's going on?
It's like the priest found this thing, and then he kind of got to live forever whilst serving this weird alien monster and serving it human sacrifices. Meanwhile, people are turning into zombies. Is it that he's turning people into Bigfoots who will kill people, and then they turn into zombies to help fix the ship?
Precisely.
So the Bigfoot is kind of like a conduit for. It's basically a recruiter for workers.
Yeah. He works for a recruitment agency.
Yeah, that's the only way I can kind of put the pieces together in my head.
Well, you nailed it. That's exactly what happened.
Well,
I'd like to see this film remade, but from the perspective of the priest. And
I'm all right.
I want to see the developing relationship between him and the demon creature.
Sure. Yeah,
so,
I mean, it'd be like The Odd Couple. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'd watch that. Cool. I think that's
coming to a cinema near you anytime soon.
Never again.
Yeah,
and neither's Demonwarp.
That is everything for Demonwarp. So
great.
We can lay that to rest.
Done. Draw a line under it. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and see you on the next episode next week.
Take care, all.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to Oddcast Movies, Music and Gaming. If you want to get in touch with us or get a movie, album or game put on our list to discuss, then email us at oddcastoddballs@gmail.com or a newwinterpodcast@gmail.com. This is part of a New Winter Podcast network, so head on over to newwinter.net to check out our other shows. You can also follow us on Instagram @newwinter, Twitter @newwinter, and you can head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/newwinter. Thanks for listening, and see you again soon.
Yeah.